Welcome back to Hacking Happiness Podcast. I'm your host, Ghost Rats, and today we're going to be talking about tearing down strongholds. Please go check out the first two podcasts before listening to this one. The first podcast, we discussed value and understanding your value. And the second podcast, we talked about acceptance, accepting yourself and your limitations. Now you should be standing on your feet, but now it's time to fight and push through and to take some lessons in to help you grow. So the first two podcasts help get you up from a down state, and I'm hoping that now we can start pushing and fighting back the dark forces that keep us back. This podcast, again, is for mental health awareness. I really do care for people, and I really hope that this can reach somebody, and if it reaches one person that needs to hear a positive message, then it's worth it for me. So let's start the podcast. Let's talk about what a stronghold is first. A stronghold is a place that has been fortified so as to protect it against an attack. So unfortunately, when we talk about strongholds that hold us back, is that we built up these lies and we've reinforced those lies with a lot of negative voices or negative thoughts, and now they're preventing us, instead of an attack, these strongholds are preventing us from actual happiness. So I want you to picture like a wall that you put up, right, to protect yourself, to guard yourself. And you can't really begin to heal and process things until you tear down these strongholds and you stop believing in the lies that you've been told. And it's even worse when we believe in the lies that we told ourselves. I mean, I talked about this before, but again, I'm going to reiterate this. We tell ourselves we're not good enough, or we can't do something, or it's just so impossible. I mean, like, if we keep telling ourselves things like that the world is a bad place, you're going to believe it. I mean, if you tell yourself a lie long enough, your mind will start to believe it, and you start making these neurological connections where it's just easier for your brain to default to negative thoughts. And that's proven. So the more you make it happy, your brain kind of like makes shortcuts for itself. So anytime you have something that brought up in your life that's supposed to bring you joy, or it's supposed to be a positive thing, if you just kept thinking of it as a negative thing, your brain's gonna default to the thing it knows best. There's way more like technical terms to this stuff, but you're just making these neurological connections, and you're unfortunately making the wrong ones. You're making negative connections. That's why, like, when you feel like, oh, something good happened, but I don't feel happy about it, because like you're always being skeptical, because your brain is trained to be skeptical about everything, and that's a horrible place to live. I mean, really good things can happen to you, and you can never really truly appreciate it. Now, granted, you should hold things with an open hand. I mean, we all are passing through this life. I mean, things come and go, good seasons and bad seasons, but to take something really positive in your life, and your brain is trained to take it as a negative or see it as a negative, that's a problem. And you can't have your views skewed. I mean, I'll talk into a couple possible areas in your life where you could have a stronghold. So let's try to identify a stronghold. So anytime you use the word can't, and before that even I can't, really evaluate that this, whatever it is that starts with I can't ever get ahead, I can't get out of debt, I can't get healthy, I can't lose weight, I can't get through school, I can't. Anytime you have that word I can't, really evaluate that. Can't means like it's impossible to do. But I think a lot of us say that we can't, or we should probably be saying that it will be difficult. It'll be difficult for me to lose weight. It'll be difficult for me to get out of debt, and it will be difficult for me to learn something new, or it'll be difficult for me to let go and try something new and coming out of my comfort zone. It will be difficult. Not I can't. Replace the word can't with could. And that could be the first step of tearing down those strongholds. Because you can. I'm telling you, you can do whatever you put your mind to. And now, in the previous podcast, we talked about limitations, but if there's a will, there's a way. And I mean it. And especially if it's God's will for you, He'll make it happen. But you gotta have faith too. You gotta have faith that these things can happen to you. If you believe that, no, this is my life, I'm stuck like this, it's just supposed to be sad, gloomy, and it can never get better, then these blessings can't happen to you. You need to have faith that things can get better. You have faith that the Lord can make it better for you too. He only requires you to have faith of a mustard seed. I mean, you don't need that much faith, just a little bit. And you need to remove the things in your life that help reinforce that stronghold. So the bricks and mortar to your strongholds are the negative influences that you hear every day. I mean, maybe you're in school and you were bullied, or maybe you had some issues growing up with your family, or you're a victim of abuse. So those experiences in your life, unfortunately, are the bricks and mortar that build up those strongholds. And it's very hard to take down those walls, because it's also, we feel safe behind that wall too. It also prevents happiness, but we've grown so comfortable with these strongholds in our life that we're afraid to live any different way. We're afraid to step out of those walls, to step outside of our comfort zone. A lot of us use the pain and hurt to protect ourselves, to get us where we are today. And now that we no longer need these walls, we don't know how to live without them. So I had hurt in my life too, but then there was a point where I needed to start loving and accepting people in my life. I had to do that. It was tough it was tough for me to take those negative shortcuts that I've created in my brain and replace them with positive ones. So, and I don't want you, and then like, I want you to understand it's not a quick process. So it's not like, okay, yeah, this is a great message, or I heard, I'm gonna work on it, and then like everything's gonna change. It doesn't. It takes years. It takes time. But you got to replace those bad habits with positive habits. So I don't know what the statistic is. I think it's like if you do something for like 10 days, it starts to become like a habit. So like start with something small, like I said earlier. No longer use the word can't. Stop using the word can't in your vocabulary. Just say could. Start something small like that. I mean, it sounds so stupid and insignificant, but really it is. It's a significant. It's the first step of breaking down and tearing down the wall. But sometimes you need to do it brick by brick. And as a Christian perspective, I mean, God loves you. Jesus loves you. He wants you to succeed. He wants to bless your life. He wants to help you. You are loved. I mean, he died for you. And the whole Old Testament, the whole Bible story is about God trying to save us. And he promises that he'll never give you too much you can't handle. That's a promise. He'll never do that to you. Now, can things get really difficult? Yes, but he'll never let you sink. He will never let that happen to you. There's been times in my life where I got pushed behind into a corner and I thought I was helpless and it was all over for me. And at that time, I felt God's hand reach for me. And it's powerful. And it's undeniably, like, there was times where, like, I hit a wall and I needed some real divine intervention, like miracles to happen. And they happened. And it was even tough for me to process during those times. Those things happened to me. So, and as I grow in my faith, and as I grow in life, I'm noticing more God's hand in things, where I need to be more patient. And I have a job where I wish I was making more money, and I wish I didn't get into so much debt. I tried doing the right things. I thought keeping my wife home to raise the kids for the first 5 years of their life I would get blessings and stuff like that. But it's not the case. Like, that wasn't God's plan. It put me into a financial situation. But I have faith in God that one day I will get out of debt and I will get ahead. So me putting that faith also takes the stress off of me. So take that stress off of you. Give your worries and concerns to him. That's what he wants. He doesn't want you. I mean, you can't do anything on your own. And stop worrying about tomorrow, because today has enough worries of its own. Like, the problem with a lot of people with depression and anxiety is that you're fighting tomorrow's battles with today's energy. You can't do that. You can't. We're very limited. And that's a good thing, because we're supposed to lean on God. Don't lean on yourself. That's why you need support. No matter where you are in your life or what walk of life you are, you need support. You're not meant to do things alone. We're not designed that way. Remove those negative things out of your life. Start taking down those bricks, breaking down the mortar that holds up those strongholds. Get away from negative people. Get away from the things that keep telling you lies, that reinforce those lies in your brain. Start making better connections. Start with better habits to tear down the strongholds. And once you do, then it's like you're going to start feeling a level of confidence and a level of peace that you'll never think you would ever have before. It's going to take time. It's not something that happens overnight. But at least you're taking a step in the right direction. tear down the strongholds. You're good enough. You're strong enough. You are so capable. You are capable. Start by taking down one brick at a time if you have to. But know that you can do anything. You will have bad seasons in your life. You will have good seasons in your life. It's in the valleys and the pain that we grow. And we become closer to God. We find ourselves. It's a beautiful thing, suffering, believe it or not. I know it doesn't seem it at the time, but it's so necessary for learning. Suffering and pain is necessary. But don't let it control and run your life. Don't become bitter. Become better. Okay, that's going to be it for this podcast. I hope this really helps. Leave a comment if this has helped you in any way, or if you have any things you would like to add. I appreciate everyone, your support, and giving me a platform to help spread positive messages. I know it's a cybersecurity channel, but I really do care about people and their mental health, and just being there for people. I grew up a lot being alone, and I just don't want other people to ever feel like you are. There's definitely communities out there. Don't believe that it's just you. There's a lot of people out there suffering, and it's a good place. This is a good place to find some people, like-minded individuals. I also have a Discord where I post positive messages and Christian messages every day. Keep fighting the good fight, and I'll see you in the next podcast.